I'll begin this exercise by creating a new document, file new, and then go to photo, landscape 6x4 or 4x6, as long as it's landscape, and then add a solid color layer. So I would choose a color that's not necessarily too dark, also not too bright, so that I could see the contrast later on. Then you're going to open the apples layer, apples picture rather. We're going to drag the apple into our layer or new document, and then you are going to duplicate this layer one. So we have two layers. I would rename the second layer as quick cell for quick selection, and then the other one I'll name it as pen. Okay, the reason we're having two layers is because I'm going to show you the difference between the quick selection tool and how it looks like when we're using the pen tool. So let's begin by this hiding our pen layer and going to our quick selection layer. So we've learned in the past to quickly select a layer or quickly remove a background, you know, background color from your object. You can just quickly select the object using the quick selection tool, and then you just add a layer mask. And this is how it would look like when we are using the quick selection tool. Now, we can refine this by grabbing the brush and then painting over the edges. But let me show you a different way to refine your selection, and that's using the pen tool. So we're happy with the quick selection tool. We're going to hide that layer, and then we're going to show our pen layer. So with this pen layer, we're going to use the pen tool. The pen tool is just above your text tool. You can access it with a P. So the pen tool works just like your lasso or your polygonal tool, but it's a more precise tool. So if we are going to choose our beginning point, so that's how you start by clicking on left clicking on that one, and then move on to your next point, and then just dragging your handle. I will try to zoom in so that you can see the edges. So notice that I missed a portion of this edge. I can go back to my pen tool and hold the control key to move that point. And you could also adjust the handle by holding your tab, and then you can adjust that side. Okay, now that I'm happy, this right handle is going to direct where your next curve is gonna go. So I'm gonna bring it down some, and then my next point is going to be here. Notice that it's not on the edge of the apple, which we don't want. So hold your Alt key and then just bring it down. Again, you can use the Control key to bring down your point. This is your path point, by the way. Okay, I'm moving on. It takes practice to get used to pen tool, but once you're used to it, you will appreciate how powerful this tool could be. Continue going over the edges of your apple. If the handle is not positioned well, you can adjust it by holding the Alt key. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just going over the edge of the apple, making sure that I'm selecting as much of the green parts as possible. And then close the selection. So if there are points where you need to adjust, like in here, if I actually zoom this in, I can see that there are some white parts. You can adjust the point by going and changing it to curvature pen tool, which just means that I'm able to change the curve here. If that doesn't satisfy your design, you can always go back to convert point tool, and you can use the Alt key to change the handle. All right, I'm pretty happy with how I selected this apple. We just created our very own work path. To view the path that we created, we can go to the path panel. So it would be right next to channels. You will have your work path right here. Then you can right click on it and you can say make selection. So when you're selecting this portion, notice that it selected most of the background. That's not what I want. What I wanted is to have the inverse selection, so it's only selecting the apple. To do that, you go to select and you say inverse. So it's now only selecting the apple. Then I go back to my layers panel and then I would add a layer mask. See how clean that apple is. If you were to compare it with our quick selection tool, you can see the difference between the outcome for your pen tool and then this is for your quick selection tool. And today, all I want you to know is to learn how to use the pen tool so that later on you will be able to combine all these four different fruits or files. So we have strawberry, and then we will also have orange. And later on, you'll be able to put your apples, strawberry, and orange into this bowl. For now, save this as exercise 9.